The stones, though. I know. I was talking to Sasha. I might as well tell you because you were all watching anyway. Down the not the birdhouse. What's it called? The playhouse. About how the stones want to help. It just come up. I talked to him about when I used to sleep under a pile of rocks. And he goes, "Oh, that makes sense because, well, basically, you've said this before, I mean, stones are older than trees. They hold more wisdom." He'd just been reading about how did that come up. I know. I was talking about spirit guides and different things, and how I'm quite confident in. I've said it before, haven't I? When I believe like if we die, we're just taken out, we're moved somewhere else, and like eternal life is long, basically, and different worlds in, say, the Tantra and the Kabbalah. Uh, Along those lines, so there's basically lots to do. I was looking again, I've got that picture up there on the mirror, which is like it just reminds me of Arcadia. Arcadia came up again when I looked through that old YouTube, what's it called, Facebook profile that I was doing when I was astral travelling in Helston. And I found that picture of, what's her face? My old chum from the tarot, Pamela Coleman Smith. It's like, well, I can't remember saving that. I was playing, what was I playing? Hyperlink wormholes, just chasing around hyperlinks and then just collecting pictures, snapping. And she was in there with Pixie next to it. And at first it was just interesting for me to remember that whole experience. Then Pixie, I was reminded, that was sort of relevant to, I know she was called like Pixie Girl. Just a conversation we were having last night about mixed mitosis. But my grandfather, one of them, had two cats and grandmother called Pixie and Mixie. They'd come called Dolly and Mixtures and they changed their names to Pixie and Mixie. I'd been saying about last night, we're talking about different things, as you can see, about like rabbits now can heal from mixed mitosis basically. So, evolution, we've been talking along those lines. So Pixie, who was, the two things were relevant. Well, the whole thing was relevant, to be honest. It's true, it was relevant to our conversation. And other things. I was talking about stones, and I came home, had a sore throat, and wanted my stones that I had before. Do you remember I was sleeping under my stones? I didn't have any, but I had these two. So I put this one, which is like an old bone stone, on my sore throat. That's what I had. And I put this one on the back of my neck. So it was a bit painful. I've woken up and it's gone white. And smooth around the edges. Pocked on the back. I think it was already pocked on the back. I forgot what else I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was thinking yesterday about my stones and like, well, radiation would come up, like radiation sickness pills, because that would come up in my Google News. And I said to someone last night, who the fucking Americans bought all these radiation pills off anyway? There's all the Chinese. It's like, oh, well, that's funny. The Chinese were the devil 6 months ago when they apparently introduced the pandemic to the world. What the fuck? What the fuck's the matter with people anyway? We say we don't give a shit about radiation medication apart from that it probably doesn't work. We're going to be like the X-Men. We've probably evolved enough with all the radiated food that we're fed, and the fucking drone strikes got a certain level of, it doesn't work like that. Well, no, but when we talk about Chernobyl and how like the bloom of nature afterwards, but then I started thinking, well, how does it work then? If it's bloomed, is it must do something to the genetic coding or whatever, different source of radiation probably. Now look at my garden again, that's really green, but thinking about the rocks that I'd used after I was bismathed on the golf course, and then I put them out under the moon after a while in a bowl of water to cleanse, and then I looked and they've all gone green, like, and they've all bloomed. It's like, well, is it because they've taken, I think I need to collect some new stones, I'm not sure. I was thinking about that and they've done their work. talking as well about how I've seen those fey holes appear in stones. I've watched it happen. Stones maybe communicate in a similar way to trees, and we don't understand why or how. It's true. They've seen more things. Sasha was saying as well, because I was sort of starting to say about stones, because that makes sense. I like those sort of conversations when you just you click with somebody on the level. How they work in a similar way to crystals, because but crystals are mass produced. It's like, well, yeah, I hadn't thought about that, and like hauled out of the earth. So they're a bit like what do they call them? Blood diamonds, I suppose. There can be a darkness attached to them to start with. And I said with stones, I just pick up any ones I want. And often the ones, say like this one, which is like an ugly stone that nobody would normally want, they're going to help more because they've been chosen. So in a way, they're more powerful because they were sort of the unwanted ones. But that's just how I pick them. I just let them pick me. It's true. I forgot what I was going to say though. I lit another candle. And I'm just telling the virus to leave. I'm meditating on the virus. It's like, you can go now, thanks. We don't need you. And the other thing I was saying about, that's what has come out yesterday. When I was talking to you-know-who in drop messages, I believe. He who knows his way about the caves. And stone people. About stones wanted to help, but I couldn't be bothered to go into great sprawling depths about what I meant by that conversation. But when I had burnt into those other stones, when I was just holding them and afterwards I looked and those pictures had burnt onto them, like the heart and that. That's what I said the stones want to help, because I realised they had more power. There's more power within the stone theory, or whatever we're going to call it. But it's learning to use that like hand healing power. So, I mean, I could feel the power, is it the chi you call it? The life force going through me and into coming out of somewhere and into the stones. When you meditate, you can learn about different energies, can't you? Different meditations and different energies that flow through you from different places. But using that same theory last night through the chi into certain points in my body. I've done it before without my hands, but sometimes it's forgetting or remembering to do it. But that reminded me, and the stones had helped because I could remember how I did it with the stones. So I was trying to use that same sort of cycle, I suppose, or part of my brain training. So they did want to help in that way. They're trying to teach us, or teach me to teach you, or teach other people, different people, don't they? I'm just saying just me, but that was about teaching me. Look, it looks like a little bum stone. Where did I find this? I just found it up the road in the drive when I was walking back from Magic Woods one day. I know it's a bone. It's been chipped off. But this is when I was getting the reading stones. They come from different places. I just had this one by my bed last night. I needed to use it. It fits in my hand quite nice, like a driving stone. Yeah, she was staring at me. Deep government official. Shit. What am I having this morning? I'm having a cup of hamster tea and just blowing the whole thing off. You know what? Whatever happens, happens, isn't it? White Speedwell though, Kona meditation, and when I had this in my throat, well, it just came. White Speedwell. And I've also got an ulcer in my mouth, a raw patch that's just come. I had a bit of toothache last night. When I was thinking about the blocks coming off, I was thinking, what the hell's that supposed to mean? Some blocks have been lifted. That was a different Illuminati YouTube I was listening to last night. Somebody's going to come back and where I don't expect. What's that? Feeding me fucking cat shit tea again? Well, that was hardly unexpected, was it? I was thinking about the cat thing and the genetics. You fucking crazy doctor. And, I mean, we were talking about all sorts of things last night, the Nazi experiments and, you know, the health experiment. Well, those experiments anyway. How people might mix cat DNA with human DNA for a number of reasons. But one of them might be so you can learn, theoretically, more about how the cat brain works. You'd have a cat, theoretically theorising on it, that could speak, possibly. But why did I say that? Well, after that dream I had about all the cats escaping from Mark Zuckerberg's house when all those people broke in, and they were worried. I don't know. They weren't worried about the people upstairs. They just let all the cats out of the basement, and then they were all just running down the road on their back legs. Sasha had been talking last night. He'd had the profound experience that he told me about was it was to do with people on like a carousel. He said it was really like unsettling, scary, sort of unsettling, but then it turned to be like quite beautiful and profound. These children, I don't know if he said they were sort of deformed children in like, what do you call it, like insect skeletons, exoskeletons? I think that's what he said, on this carousel. And then they said, oh, but we're really happy. This is the only life we've known or something. So I was sort of trying to analyse that. In a dream sort of way. What could it mean? But it could mean a lot of things anyway. It could mean a lot of things. I mean, this is what I said. What did I say? Multi-dimensional thought patterns on that. If you have only learnt, lived a certain... I mean, it could be to do with the tech thing, isn't it? And living your life through, like, this handset sort of thing. That could be a sort of a protected skeleton, really. The rebirth thing of different things. Carousel, but that came into Arcadia again. And the whole, this part of eternal life that we're living. Getting ready for the next part. Getting ready for another door that we might go through later on. So, I mean, Helen Geller, I don't know. I don't think it really matters, does it? Not really. I'm burning stones. Look, this one's gone smooth as well. The colour changed in it before. Next cup of tea. I can't be able to make a coffee at the moment. I just had a banana and an apple. I'm still waiting for Tess to give my clothes back on my crutches. I'm just running around spilling untruths. Send the wires back. Make a pot of coffee, probably. Go find some chickweed. What did I have when I got in? Some green beans. They helped a bit, and looked at the moon. It's true. Let's got my rocks out. I should go find some more rocks later on. And that's all I can think of saying at the moment. I think that was everything, to be honest. Why did I dress as deep government? I just felt like doing it. I wanted to do it the other day. I had the wrong trousers. I wanted to wear my grey trousers have disappeared. My only good ones. I think you know who's been in stolen them because she's jealous, as usual. And me wearing my office trousers. I wanted to wear last night to look, you know what, to go and eat at the bicycle shop. And they've completely disappeared. So I had to wear the black jeans. I should have worn some brogue things. We all look like deep government. No, Alex looks like KGB, I said. I said it was even funnier that I was dressed as deep government. He was KGB, and we went and met in the bicycle shop. And I missed the bag by 4 minutes. Riding with four. 4 minutes late after the bank had shut. And then I met other Bevan and I said I was dressed as deep government, but you've got my fucking glasses on. He goes, yeah, I got them from Specsavers. we were deeper than deep government yesterday. It was funny. It was the top team out. Really, it was. I was thinking as well, we could have seriously all been deep government in other lives. You know how my spirit's transient thing and been poisoned already as spies. But so we know the ropes. We know the ropes deeply. It's true. Mum bought me that scarf, didn't she? I think it's funny it's in those colours. And now I've thought about it more. And again, I was saying about the spirits being guiding us yesterday. We've just been moved around, like, and it goes back to that book as well that I read before. What's it called? I always forget what it's called. It's Celestine Prophecy. And how we meet people for a specific reason. So we all met last night and had that conversation and passed on information. That guy, I forgot his name, the tech guy, said about, I can't remember what it's called, but I basically got the gist of what he was saying. A piece of paper with 2 slits in it, and you can see something through it. Like, I've forgotten the word, not protons or something. But if you're looking at it, the shape's different. So if you don't look at it, it's waves or something. But they've managed to, it just came from sort of quantum mechanics, doesn't it? They've managed to capture it. I thought, well, how? It must know that it's being watched. It must be watched in some form for them to have captured it. Yeah, but they found a way around it. Well, maybe they found a way of discovering things aren't, you know what? Well, a lot of things. Anyway, I think I called it Schrodinger's proton, but basically that was the idea. Something along those lines. I can't remember what it was, but they both knew about it. He goes, oh, and then Sasha said, "You're the first person to explain that in a way that I actually makes sense." So it's clearly something that is anyway. It was a relevance to that whole. You come together to share information. So I'm sure different things would have been useful to all of us, but there was, different things did come up that were useful to me. Like I've come away with the whole tree thing again. The trees are watching us, and the stones want to help, which was useful to me when I got home. It was my own words had made. That was something that came up in the conversation as well, about the relevance of, profound experiences occasionally will just, for whatever reason, will be useful to you, and our paths aren't all necessarily going to be the same, but we have to trust that is the path. really hard, fucking interesting. I know. What I'm going to do today, drink this cup of tea, meditate a bit more on the candle. You do some deep government exercises, some mind control. Recce on this influenza or whatever it is. It's just a sort of throat that came up again. I got one the other day when I had something else as well. It's like, oh, do you know what? You can go, please, now. I don't want a sore throat. Now I've got a sore throat, a bit of a runny nose. And I know bird flu's going around. It's all over Suffolk and Norfolk. There's no turkeys going to be around for Christmas, which might not be true. Might not be true. But we've been here before. Sometimes we have to dose the squirrel and she'll find out. She'll find out the way around it, won't she? Won't she? Others. We've done this a few times before. Just give it to her. She'll tell us what to do. Just to feel it from the inside. Man, I feel like a woman. Bum, 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 bum. The best thing about being a woman. Oh, little bit crazy, calling me lazy. Oh. I ran Simba on the road the other day, look. I watched him and brought him home. You never know what he'll be useful. He was on the road though. It's one of those things for a cop pram thing. I couldn't say that word about 3 times last night. Is it record? Oh, fucking hell, I still can't say it. It's like Renaissance. Reconnaissance. That's it, say it again. Reconnaissance. Why did that come up? Well, I was talking about, I'll tell you what in a bit great detail, what it was about. Well, we were talking about the sort of things we always talk about, deep government, drugs testing, medication, something we've all got experience of taking and batches basically, and how, well, they sort of said, well, doctors don't know how it works, but we're talking about, oh God, all sorts of deep government. But, so I just said, well, do you know, with medication, you're going to have different batches. This is the simple way of saying it. And the chemical compound in each batch could easily be different for a number of reasons. I mean, social testing, all the other testing they do. You know, you as a control, you know, like in one group of people, you might feed, say, something with more opiates into one group so they get a therapeutic benefit, maybe an addiction to it for whatever reason. Others might. We've got Vietnam and like chemical warfare, so it's not like people don't know how to use different drugs against people. But then you get a group of people come together and they sort of compare the results of what their experience of being on the drugs, and they might not necessarily be the same. So, there's a lot of different reasons why they could be done like that. But just, discussing it as a... no, just discussing it, to be honest. I forgot what I was going to say again. What was it all about? Oh yeah, another thing we were talking, it was like doing acid. I mean, we've all got experience of doing drugs in that group over the years. And we used to call them Prozac dreams years ago, and I'm sure it's the same as citalopram and other antipsychotics, that you have these sort of profound experiences or dreams, and the same with acid. So, I mean, we were talking about that. I mean, it just came up in the conversation, and that's the what's the word I just said again? Well, yeah, like recovery. What's it called? You go out and gather information, and then come back and discuss it with other people, and pass on that information. It's, what's it called? Reconnaissance. And then we share that information with other people. So, I mean, that was another reason why I was saying we might be being dosed with some of these things, and then the data being collected by other people. It is like reconnaissance missions that we're all doing and sharing that information for the greater good. And I said, like, something happened a while back, and the son who was here just said, we're here to... I said, what's the fucking point of any of this? What? And he said, we're here to help other people. And I said to them last night, do you know what, at the time, that was the last thing I fucking wanted to hear. That was the most unhelpful thing I wanted to hear. But it is one of those more, I say, profound statements. You learn as things go on, you know, you hear these things. What's the scrying called when you read books and certain phrases just stand out? That sort of thing. But you learn as you go along that is part of the evolution, I suppose, of the species. Maybe let's just say that. And then we're guided by a spirit team all the time, just being moved around. So we all met last night for a reason, because our spirit team put us together for a reason, to share those different bits of information. But that's going on all over the place. For whatever reason. I'll go back to playing my stones with this cup of tea now. I look like a turkey. My old turkey neck. Oh, good. You'll be getting me for Christmas, will you? Sad for you. Or Thanksgiving. Christmas carol it is. Ho-de ho, ho. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Vegans to the rescue again. I fucking care either way. Anyway. Trust the journey, mate. Trust the fucking journey. Just grow, that came up. Look, that's on that piece of paper. From I went to a thing, but it fell out of my art folder. You know, what we call them? Art satchels. What are they called? Portfolio. You know what. Anyway. It's just evolution again, isn't it? Evolution. They've done it with Mitzi. We know about Reiki. Hand healing I've done before. Hands-on healing anyway. Putting the energy through. Can't always do it. I was doing it last night. I was Reikiing myself and the dog came and lay on top of me. So something must have been going on. Whether she was passing it my way or wanting to take it off me. When I was doing it in the garden that time, she came and laid down, didn't she? Under me. So just channeling the energy. Just laying on my feet at the moment. Just brings an awareness to it. Goldbrick's laughing now. He goes, oh, you'll get there eventually. Slow-mo. Keep trying. Keep hitting the sticks. Keep hitting the stick. Keep hitting the stick. They laughed at me yesterday and called me thick because I said we were talking about different things. And I said, I was talking about Hiroshima. So there's probably some overflow from that. The Chinese, they're probably all they've still got a gripe with the Americans. And they said that was Japan. I said, you fucking idiot. It was the same sort of area. Come on, Dr. Watson, let's go to the Playhouse. Alex looked like Doctor Who last night. I thought that's probably one of the mistakes was made. TARDIS landed in the wrong bit. How was I supposed to know? Right, where's my other stones? I'll go find some. I've got loads lying around. Well, you have, they say. Oh, I know where there's one actually. Right, 30 minutes. Let's see if you can find a good stone in the last 3 minutes. And then come back. I'm still keeping a secret about this bone. And you know what grinding up that other one to pop in my meal. And I know, oh anyway, I can't bother to talk about it, you just do what you want. You just do things your way. You fucking Inspector Gadget. I love cats though, I just want people to be more like them. Do you know what? In the great scheme of things, you might not be wrong. The Stonewall one's not here. Big flat ones then. I've got these ones, I'll take them upstairs. Look, the dog's got the dog's got one of those. Oh look, I've got all my stones. My Masonic bell. I could do cupping with that, couldn't I? You know what I mean? When you heat up the cups and then put them on. Not the one you're thinking of, as usual. But these as well. That would work, wouldn't it? Take it up anyway. With this plate of rocks. They're ready to use, aren't they? Let's just take them. Just take them and go and have a lie down with the candle and well, that's how they used to do it with syphilis, isn't it? A bit of clay up the thing. That'll suck it out. Well, you don't do it a certain way. I know, I was a bog witch, remember? What stones have we got here? Some of my favourite. Oh, we've only got 2 more seconds. You get the idea though.